So we can add protein at breakfast and do this by using higher protein milks for smoothies and for cereals. Adding hemp seeds and other seeds and nuts to our breakfast bowls. Adding lentils and higher protein whole grains to our breakfast bowls. So one of the things I do is I always add lentils to my grains that I cook. So if I'm cooking, say, oat groats and quinoa, I'll throw in a few lentils to, give it a little extra boost in protein, iron, and zinc, and then use that as the base of my breakfast bowl. And you can add tofu, or you can make a tofu or pumpkin seed scramble. And pumpkin seed scramble, you might be wondering, what the heck is she talking about? Tofu scrambles are really common. Pumpkin seeds can actually also be used to make a scramble. And my son was the one that got me onto this. You soak pumpkin seeds and then just sort of rub them to get some of the rough skins off, and then blend them with water or soy milk or whatever you want to do. And then you can scramble them. And I did this, and I found that they made quite a nice sandwich filling doing that, or a wrap filling as well. And there's lots of recipes online. And then the other thing that my son got me onto was these lentil crepes. They are amazing. So basically all you do is you soak lentils. I usually soak them, for the day. I'll start soaking in the morning, soak them for the day. And I use red lentils or some sort of split lentils. So red lentils or mung dal or, something like that. And so you soak them for the day in water, and then I drain them and rinse them. And then I put them in the blender and add clean water to about maybe a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch over the top of the lentils, and then blend them. And if you want, you can throw a little bit of salt in for flavor, or you can add some, sort of Indian style seasonings, depending on what you're using them for. And then the way that I do them is I make them very thin on the pan. And then we'll use them. You can use them for breakfast with a nut butter, bananas, and a blueberry sauce on top. Or you can use them for a dinner. And I love making a cream sauce with, cashew cream sauce with asparagus and broccolini and lots of different kinds of mushrooms and those kinds of, artichoke hearts, those kinds of things. And you put the creamy filling into this lentil crepe, and it is amazing. It's such a yummy supper. And so often when I do that, we'll have a crepe like that for the supper. And then I'll do a little dessert crepe where we'll put the, nut butter and bananas and a little blueberry, sauce on top for dessert. So that's pretty fun. And then, of course, baked beans, nut or seed butters, hummus or smoked tofu on toast can be another way of adding protein to breakfast. We want to add protein to lunch and dinner as well, using beans, lentils, and split peas in soups and stews, tofu or hummus in sandwiches and wraps, stir fries and Buddha bowls with tofu, tempeh, edamame, beans, or lentils. You can see the Buddha bowl to the right. This is actually one of my favorite meals. I love Buddha bowls with a really good, tahini or peanut sauce or something like that. They're really yummy, simple meals. And one of the things, you see the tofu in this picture looks a little bit crispy. Some people do them in air fryers. I don't actually have an air fryer. So what I do is I take a cookie sheet and I put the tofu, I chop it into cubes, put it on a silicone mat on the cookie sheet. And then I sprinkle it with some tamari and a little bit of turmeric and then a few herbs and just bake it in the oven until it gets a little bit crispy and do it that way. And it's delicious. It's delicious on salads, in bowls, in stir fries, because sometimes in stir fries, when you're adding tofu, one of the things I find is that it just stays soggy. And if you want it to be a little bit crispy, what you can do is you make your stir fry without the tofu, you bake your tofu, and then you sprinkle your tofu on top when the stir fry is done, which is awesome. And then we have stuffed sweet potatoes. You can see in the upper left-hand corner here. You can also stuff peppers and squash. And one of my favorite is the Southwestern sweet potatoes, which have a sort of a black bean corn mixture. And you actually scoop out some of the sweet potato and mix that in with your your stuffing, and then putting avocado on top. You can make an avocado aioli or just mashed avocado, or slices of avocado, whatever you want. And that's a lovely meal. And then you can use beans or lentils to make loaves and patties, like these patties here. And then making burgers, tortillas, tacos using legumes as well. And then pasta dishes with lentils, veggie meat, or tofu. And of course, you can also use legume-based pasta instead of grain-based pasta. So you can buy a black bean linguine or an edamame spaghetti or something like that, as opposed to a wheat-based or a grain-based pasta. And these legume-based pastas are actually really high in protein, about 20 grams per serving. So that's a pretty hefty amount of protein. And then you can even infuse protein into desserts. And my favorites are, puddings with chia seeds, hemp seeds, soy milk, or and soft tofu. You can use black beans or chickpeas, like these brownies on the left here actually have black beans in them, and these cookies have chickpeas in them. And then you can use nuts, seeds, and tofu in cheesecakes. And so it's, Asian style red bean desserts you can do. So there is a place for more concentrated protein foods in dessert as well. And then you can add protein to snacks. Hummus and veggies is a great one. Edamame, just serving it, or sugar snap peas as a snack. Bean-based muffins, bars, or dehydrated chips. And this is a picture of chips that I made. And these are, I call them falafel chips. And they're made with chickpeas and all kinds of seeds. Like you can see all the flaxseed in these chips. But you basically make a dough and then they're dehydrated, and they're just so good. And of course, peanut butter, seed butters on celery or apple slices, and roasted chickpeas or soybeans. And then things like tofu fingers, nut and seed cheeses, trail mixes are all decent choices as well. So let's just talk now a little bit about sort of protein and disease thing. And we'll begin by talking about the most healthful plant protein sources. And there's no question the most healthful sources are whole plant foods. And so, the best place to get plant protein is from unprocessed or minimally processed legumes. So cooked beans, peas, lentils, sprouted peas, lentils, or mung beans, edamame, tofu, tempeh, soy milk, peanuts, peanut butter. I would recommend that it be natural and organic. And then, of course, unprocessed or minimally processed nuts and seeds. And you can, soak them to increase the digestibility, soak and dehydrate if you want. And then intact whole grains like amaranth, quinoa, and kamut berries are reasonable sources as well. And these can be cooked or sprouted. And fresh peas are a good choice too. And fresh peas are something that I always add to my husband's smoothies. I don't like using protein powders. I don't find they taste very good.